Hey guys, so this video is going to be a little bit different to any other video I think I've ever done. My makeup is basically done. It's going to be kind of like a get ready with me chatty video. Like I said, my makeup is basically done. I just have my lips to do, but I'm going to be we're gonna straighten my hair. I've done all the prep work, but more importantly, I wanted to discuss something that is super duper important and very personal to me. Let's do my lips and we can start talking. Before I start, I'm using the Nova Beauty Brown number 02 lip liner. I am obsessed with this lip liner. It is so creamy. Look at that. It just literally just slides on. My hands are shaking because I haven't done a video in so long, and to come back and do a chatty video really had me nervous, but it's important. We're gonna get this video done. And sorry, I'm the worst at multitasking. It can be messy. Then you're gonna turn it over. It's got this teeny tiny little brush. Look how cute. If you want to blend that out a little bit, you can. Oh, I just love this lip liner. It's like my literal go-to for almost every lip that I do. Look at that. Messy but cute, okay? Heaven lipstick. Again, by Nova Beauty. It's like a pinky nude. Just look how pretty that is. Okay. And last but not least, we're gonna get our Nova Beauty. Did I say that one was called Heaven? Yes, I did. And then this clear lip gloss is called Thick. I'm just gonna put some on the back of my hand because I hate when I get my clear lip glosses looking like peachy in the bottle. So I'm just gonna put it on the back of my hand. Oh, how pretty. Literally just gonna outline my lips and that's my makeup done, and then we can get to the important stuff and straighten my hair. Just lightly like neaten up the edges with some concealer. Face is done. Let's start with the hair. But what we're gonna be talking about today is boobies. If this video is a little bit all over the place, it's obviously because it's a subject that is very near and dear to my heart, but I really feel like I need to get this message out there, and most importantly, that you guys take it as seriously as I am. So yeah, we're gonna get to straightening our hair, but let's talk about, I don't want to be distracted for this. So about 5 years ago, not 5 years ago, almost 6 years ago, I was doing my makeup in front of the mirror, and at the time I just didn't like wearing anything on top while I was doing my makeup because I can tend to be a little bit messy. And while I was doing my makeup, I obviously didn't have anything on, and something caught my eye in the mirror just over here. It kind of looked like a dent, but like on the outside. I don't know how to explain it. And immediately, as soon as I put my hand there, I was like, what the flip is that? So I don't know if you can see, but the space there, I did see it. I did feel a lump. The space between, it's about the size of a golf ball. Kind of squishy, but not squishy enough to pop. You can move it between your two fingers. At the time, I remember thinking, Lord Jesus, not today. I freaked out. I've never run to my mom's room so quickly. Ran in there bare chested, and I was like, Mom, I found a lump. And I made her feel it, and she was like, we got to book an appointment ASAP. She booked an appointment with me, go to the GP. The GP very quickly referred me to the local hospital. At the time, I very importantly, I need to name and shame the hospital because red flag, they went wrong with what they performed on me. Before I carry on, I'm just gonna explain what I've used on my hair. I've used the Color Wow Dream Coat Supernatural Spray. Amazing for when you're doing your hair straight and you don't want any moisture. Like when moisture touches my hair, Color all over again. And I've got the GHD Bodyguard Heat Protect Spray. So I've already gone ahead and applied those. It says apply liberally. it's heat activated. I'm gonna go ahead and blow dry my hair really quickly, then we'll come back to where that hospital went wrong. I've never used one of these before, but I found it while I was doing some decluttering, and it's a blow drying brush kind of, I guess. Let's just see if it works. Okay, so it worked. That took about maybe 5 minutes. It was really good. My hair feels soft, I'm guessing from the Color Wow and obviously the products that I used before. Next step is straightening. I've never straightened my whole head by myself. I usually get it done professionally, or my mum literally is thebomb.com. Remember that I said the hospital didn't do what they were supposed to do. So I went to my GP. They quickly referred me to the hospital to get my boob checked out basically. And all of that was pretty fast. When I get to the hospital, Basildon University Hospital, the waiting area is like, I went with my mum, and some people were standing, some people, I've never seen a waiting room that full before, I guess. I wasn't expecting it to be that full, but all of the women that were there were substantially older than me, and I was like, you know what, we're all getting our boobies checked, it doesn't matter about age. But that it didn't register with me then that shouldn't have been the case. They gave me a mammogram. Keep in mind I'm about 24, 25. This sit down consultation afterwards was very like brief. They were like, yeah, we didn't see anything. Just monitor it from now on. If you see any changes, like come back basically. That was that. That was about 5, almost 6 years ago. Fast forward to present day. For the last 2 or so years, I was having the worst, like when I say debilitating, horrific pain during my periods, that I couldn't even get out of bed for the first or second day sometimes. And I wanted to find a holistic way to get rid of that pain. I wanted to stop depending on pain medication and stuff, like over-the-counter stuff, and I've done that. I have 0 pain. The only issue is now, because there's no pain, I don't know when my period is. Like if my period's just started, I wouldn't know, because usually the telltale will be like, oh, belly cramping. I know my period's gonna start in like an hour or 2. So yes, it's a blessing. I've got rid of the pain. If you want me to make a separate video about how I did that, all natural, I'm happy to do that. But because I didn't have pain in my abdominal area, my uterus anymore, I started noticing other pain. I started noticing that around my period, before, after and during, the lump would have like a throbbing feeling, and initially it didn't bother me, but it got to the point where that throbbing feeling like kind of like would like shoot up underneath my arm. As each period went on and like time went on, for a few months I didn't say anything to my mom, because I just thought, you know what, back then they told me it's nothing to worry about. This is probably just as a result because of the timing as well, like it was around my period. I just thought, you know what, it just could be hormonal. And like this pain, it gradually got worse and worse and worse, to the point where there was sometimes, I don't want to lift up my arm because I haven't shaved, but I'd be laying in my bed like this, because it was the only, if my arm was down, like I'd be feeling the pain. It's like I tackled one problem, no period pain, but now this was getting worse and worse with each month. And I told my mum, I said, I'm going to book an appointment. I want a second opinion. I don't know why I've waited this long, because now this is affecting me. It's affecting my period. I want to go to the GP. So obviously we're in a different area now. First of all, that when I was making the phone call myself, because I'm a big girl, I didn't need my mum to do it for me. I always need my mum, but this time I was doing it myself. Those receptionists are so brutal. Like she was like, there's no appointments for the next 2 weeks. And then she asked me, what's it referring to? And I was like, I found a lump in my boob. And she was like, oh, give me a minute. I was just thinking, you just said there's no appointments. And she was like, we have an appointment for Friday. Blah, blah, blah. This was Wednesday. And I was just thinking, yeah, you lot are liars. Anyway, I went in on the Friday. They referred me very quickly. I got a phone call literally that Monday from the local hospital to say that I've been referred. They'd like me to come in that Wednesday, and I was like, oh, this is moving really fast. I went in on the Wednesday. They asked me what my symptoms have been, why am I here, how can they help me, and they also made me put on a gown, and I was like, oh, this is very serious. Like, I don't know, just being in a hospital gown just doesn't bring it just doesn't bring me joy. So when they were asking me all these questions, they said, so when you originally found this lump, to explain the process that you do there, and I said, oh yeah, basically they sent me to Basildon Hospital and they gave me a mammogram, and the doctor was like, are you sure you had a mammogram? And I was like, huh? Yeah. And then I messaged my mum and I was like, Mum, the doctor looks a bit confused why I had a mammogram. He was like, just find out from your mum what hospital, because I couldn't remember the hospital as well, so I messaged my mum, then I called her and I was like, Mum, what was the hospital? She reminded me, and the doctor was like, I'm so confused, like, why would they give you a mammogram? And I was like, I don't understand. He was like, anyway, you're gonna come back here after your screening. He was like, you're gonna have a ultrasound done, and I was like, I'm not having a mammogram? He's like, no. And he's like, I'll explain everything afterwards. They made me go and put on the dressing gown, and then I saw another doctor. I was called in within about 30 minutes, but I was sat there like nervous, as like I was shivering from nerves. Like I wasn't cold, I was just sat there like looking around. It was a breast, what is it called? Breast ward. So everybody there was just, it was just really daunting. My mum wasn't with me, and it was a lot. So like I can even feel myself getting hot now thinking about it. When they called my name, they were like, Nakita Johnson. They take me into this room. It's a different doctor. She asked me, can you explain like why you're here, blah blah blah, and like she's got it written down what the other doctor has said, and I was like circled where they need to look for this lump and whatever. And then I explained to her as well, like, yeah, 5-6 years ago I had a mammogram, and she was like, what? So now I'm thinking 2 doctors now have given me this dirty look, like I'm telling a lie. And then she was like, you're too young to have had a mammogram at that age. And I was like, what are you talking about? And I remember thinking when I had the mammogram, I don't know if you can tell, I mean, I'm part of I wish I was bigger, but I'm part of the itty bitty committee, and this is bigger to me. Back then I wouldn't say flat chested, but it was much smaller than this. And a mammogram is that machine that basically grabs your boob and squishes it and then does this like scanning thing. What were they grabbing, please? Because even now there's nothing to grab. So how is the machine gonna grab my little itty bitty committee tit? Anyway, long story short, she says the earliest you should have a mammogram and that it can read your breast tissue is 35. And I was thinking, why would they do that to me? If anything was wrong, but this is all before she's given me the scan, by the way. If anything was wrong back then and they missed it because they gave me a mammogram, like it's their fault. And I started getting nervous. I felt like I was gonna cry, and she was like, it's not a problem, we're gonna do a ultrasound today, some like jelly thing on my boob. And she made me, they make you lift your arm up like this. They do both sides. And so like she showed me on the screen, she was like, this is normal tissue, this isn't. It doesn't look like anything to worry about, but we would suggest taking it out. They would get it tested and whatever. But she was like, as far as I can see, there's nothing to worry about, but for precaution, because of the pain you've mentioned, whatever, we would highly recommend that you get it removed. And I was like, whew, thank you Jesus. I'm still going to straighten my hair, don't worry, I'm just trying to get past the nitty gritty of this story. So I went back to the other doctor. He also explained to me that it is not normal for someone under the age of 35 to get a mammogram, and they're going to look into what went wrong there, because I shouldn't have had it. I remember I was surrounded by women way older than me, and that's when it clicked, and I was like, I remember being the youngest one there. My mum didn't even know this, so even she was like, what on earth, why were they giving you a mammogram when I should have had this ultrasound? Oh, juicy story. When the doctor was telling me all of this, and like he was asking me, what do you do, blah blah blah, there was another nurse in the room, and I was just like, I explained like I'm on social media, blah blah blah, and he was like, oh, my son's on social media, and I was thinking, really? And then the nurse goes, yeah, his son's really famous. And I was like, that's nice. And she was like, can I see your social media? And I was like, I've never had a nurse ask to see my social media. And I was like, yeah, of course. And then I showed it to her, and she was like, oh wow, you're so beautiful. And I was just thinking, what are you trying to say? Because I'm sat here with no makeup on. But so yeah, that was funny. And then he was like, do you want to see my son? Do you want to see my son? And I was like, no, it's alright. And he was like, she was like, you have to see his son, he's a rugby player. And I was like, okay, he showed me his son. I was like, oh, thank you for showing me. Anyway, long story short, he said you should receive a letter in the post explaining next steps and when you should expect your surgery. And I said, no problem, at least I can mentally prepare myself for that moment. Let's get to straightening our hair. Guys, for my first time, I'm actually quite impressed with how this is coming out. What? I was trying to do it on camera, but I kept like burning myself because there's no mirror in front of me. So I'll come back close to the end. I'm very pleased with how this is turning out. On the 2 last bits. Okay, I'll comb this out already. Oh my days. Look at that. Look at the difference. I'm doing it. Take down a moment for my handiwork, please, because I'm literally gobsmacked that I did this by myself. So, excuse my wet patches on my arms. I was sitting doing my hair in the sun, so a little bit sweaty. I'm so impressed. This, it is called Bread Hair Oil Everyday Gloss. On the box it says it's like a lip gloss but for your hair. It's not oily, so I wasn't sure if it, I didn't want to put too much on my hair because I didn't want it to be too shiny, but it smells delicious, almost like sweets. But what do you think? I did it, guys. Even my mom's impressed. This is first for me. So yeah, to conclude, my letter came in the post the other day to say that my surgery is scheduled for next month. Glad it's getting removed, there'll be no more pain. I did ask the doctor if once they take it out, will my nipples be like facing different directions, and he said no. It's literally just taking the lump out to go get tested and whatever else, but as far as they're concerned, there is nothing to be concerned about as of now. One thing that I would recommend, and that I've learned to do since about 5 or 6 years ago, is every time I was in the shower religiously, I would feel my boobs. Take like your 3 middle fingers and just press around your boob all the way up under your underarm. So press around like this and then actually like rub it, and then when you get to it, also check if there's any irregularities. Like I saw there was like a inside outside dent on my boob, but also check your nipples if they change shape, change color, keep an eye on that. And lastly, squeeze your nipples if there's anything that comes out, get it checked out. Listen to your body. It could be nothing, but rather be safe than sorry. And I'm just glad that I'm able to share this message with you guys. I don't know if I'm going to record my whole going to the hospital and stuff. I don't know how I'm going to be feeling on the day, but you never know. I might be nervous right now. I'm like cool, calm and collected. But if there is something you'd want me to share with you guys, like the whole process and how I feel before, how I feel afterwards, hopefully I can see what I can do on the day. I'm sure it won't be an issue. My mum and Mr. are coming with me. It's going to be really early in the morning. It's a month away. I can mentally prepare myself. It's okay. Again, I'm glad that I was able to share this message with you guys. I hope that you take heed, and like me, if you do feel or see something wrong, perhaps get a second opinion. The first doctor that I went to obviously didn't do a great job, and I'm thankful that it took me being in pain to be seen by doctors that actually knew what they were doing. So again, listen to your body, pay attention to any differences and things that you might feel. It could save you. So yeah, thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed kind of getting ready with me. I hope you love my look, and I will see you guys soon. Bye guys.